Hi, welcome back to another October on-farm update. I'm Ollie here, farming here in Southland, New Zealand. What haven't we seen this month? I mean, it has been an October not to forget, that's for sure. We've been through it all there this month. When drenching calves, bringing and sorting them all out. We've been trying to sort of extend round length or shorten round length to start pushing quality in front of the cows, getting into that mating period. We've done our first PG shot on our heifers to start mating on the 5th of November. They're just about to be due for their second shot in the scratch cards, so that's been on the front of our minds. Low growth. We have had snow, we have had wind, we have had rain. The only thing we have not had is sunshine. It is on the forecast, so we will believe it when we see it. Currently, just do a pasture walk there this week, but last week we were below demand by 5 or 10 kilos, so thereabouts. We're punching about 8 kilos of supplement into them at the minute. We really aren't growing. We're about an average cover of 2,000, which is struggling for this time of year when we just want to open the cows up. Growth is back 40 kgs dry matter to the hectare grown. And yeah, we've had wind. First time that we would have seen wind like it. 170 kilometre winds, knocked out power for 3 days. Everybody in Southland in state of emergency, and South Otago state of emergency. And yeah, so I think we did our first milk in 38 hours after they last got milked due to the power outage. So big thing on our mind is mastitis, energy levels, making sure we're putting enough feed in front of the cows, and yeah, stripping the herd. Everybody was the same. We were sharing generators, we were hot spotting. I think the generator I borrowed came from about 40 kilometers away, and that was already powering 3 other sheds. So it was a lot of teamwork. It was a lot of community, and everybody was in the same boat. So it was certainly an event to bring everybody together, and what a brilliant industry we're in, because yeah, everybody did pull together. There's still boys out there now still running on generators, and we are thinking about them because it is not easy. Not only just to start milking the cows, but then you're thinking, well, we need to start pumping water. So, you know, that's also a bigger issue. But anyway, back onto the cow front. We're cycling well, from what I'm seeing. We don't do any pre-mating checks, tail paint, because we're usually sitting around that 87% submission. So we should be right. We gave the herd a B12 and selenium. We bled the heifers to make sure they were okay. They came back a wee bit low in copper, so we gave them a shot of multimin, and then yeah, started the PG program a week ago. So we will stick at them in a few days' time. Everybody else in the district's starting to start mating there now, so the wife and I go out on an AI run, and we mate everybody else's cows as well. So we are seeing variety around the board, hearing it from everybody, but everyone's cows are looking in really good order. The only thing we were struggling on is the sunshine and growth. So I did manage to sneak a reseed in just before all this weather came through. That was a late finish for me and the lads that were doing some groundwork. But for us, it is to try and get the grass back in the ground to start growing it again. I think in this update we've got some weighing of calves. What else have we got? Jeez, I don't know. The month has disappeared. Probably the weather event you know, there was an awful lot of teamwork in that, because I mean, you know, late nights for everybody. When we start milking at 8 o'clock and don't finish till 1 in the morning, it's not what your staff sign up for. So team morale is a pretty big one for us, making sure that they're happy, that we provide for them, because they're just like the extended family that we've got. So hopefully you enjoy this month's update. Well, this has certainly been an eventful last 38 hours. Whole of Southland, whole of the South Island has been just smashed with a weather event. Loss of power, no generators in stock anywhere to be seen. And here we are at 8 o'clock milking after 38 hours of these caves not being milked. It's been an ordeal to try and get parts, fittings, generators, and I'm pretty sure PowerNet are working their socks off to try and get everyone back up to speed and up to power. I just take this moment to say thank you to anybody that has helped us, because, you know, these poor girls are starting to get uncomfortable. But hey, we plug on, we're milking now. We'll probably finish at midnight tonight. Probably have a team photo, a few beers and some fish and chips in a minute. But the main thing is cows are being milked, and yeah, back underway. Oh, tea at the cow shed tonight. All the guys will cup in. We'll switch with them in a minute. First mob of calves they're bringing in for drenching. Drenching, weigh-in, and then we'll split up into a heavies and a light mob, and then they'll be fed meal and milk according to their mobs. So should have about 120 of these coming in today, which would be nice. So this is the last mob that we've got outside, our youngest calves. And then there next door we have our oldest calves that we're weaning down off milk, and then predominantly meal.
G'day all, welcome back to another month. Throughout this video you'll see a lot of silage got done, or getting done. We're in end of October now, and we're absolutely having an absolute fantastic spring. We've had 37 mils the past week. Next week there's forecast for up to 2 inches. So we are getting a fair bit of silage done at the moment. Just trying, anything that's above 3 tonne plus, we're just taking off now while we can, because it looks like all of next week is going to be, it's going to be rain. So we're going to take off what we can now, just bale this up, which will be mainly for young stock, and yeah, get some fur back on. Shaping up really well for second cut as well. The stuff that we done about 2 weeks ago is looking really well, so that's hopefully shaping up well. And yeah, cows are still milking well as well, really good. Getting residuals really good now. Still doing about 2.1 solids, so going fantastic. We're on the lookout for another team member. Coming up early next year, we've got calving, we've got projects, etc., as we do over summer. So we're hoping to find someone that will start in December, and the role will be for about 6 months. So it'll take over our summer period, so feeding and some projects, and then into calving, which calving begins in sort of middle to late February. So if anyone's interested, please send us a message. Really good pay, housing, etc. So if anyone wants to come and experience the Australian summer especially, and we live in a pretty good part of the world, close to the beach and not far from Melbourne, and even Adelaide's not far away as well. So please let us know. It'd be great to great to have one of you guys on board. So today we've been weighing our calves with the plan, obviously, see how they're going, but also there was an export job heading to Turkey for live export, so we'd have about about 40 excess that we've got that we'll probably look to put on that. But we've been, since they've come back, some of you might remember we brought them over here about 2 months ago on grass, and since we brought them over here, we haven't had the best results, to be honest. We weighed them up today and the average weight was 176 kilos. These are the lighter ones. And some of these were sort of only 150 kilos, 160, 170. Yeah, we don't seem to have, you can see here, she's pretty average. We don't seem to have much luck with putting calves onto grass after they've been weaned or, in a bit of a feedlot situation. And we don't really know why. They just seem to always go backwards, get worms, whatever. So I know when we were in Ireland a few years ago, someone were talking about the same sort of thing with calves at grass, a grass thing about putting calves on too early on grass and having issues like this. So yeah, what we're going to do with these now is put them essentially back into a bit of a feedlot situation, just to try and limit their grass a bit, to try and catch them up. Put them on some cereal hay and on, just on grain ad lib feeders to try and catch them up to the heavier ones. So yeah, not ideal, but obviously, yeah, farming's not meant to be easy, and we all have situations like this that don't always have a plan. So, but hopefully we can catch them up. So we are finally mowing silage. We've got about 300 hectares in front of us. Got a little helper here today, Tilda. And some of it's spot on, some of it's probably a bit too far gone, but this here's a paddock of perennial, so perennial base, and it's, yeah, pretty much spot on. So really happy with this. But as you'll probably see as we go, some of it is a bit too far gone. So yeah, pretty busy week in front of us, but we'll get it done. So we have Monk and Son do our silage, so they'll come in with their big rake and chopper and all the rest of it and do that. So we'll mow it and ted it, and then they'll do the rest. So what do you reckon, Till? So yeah, pretty big couple of days, but from where we started, 6 months ago with no rain to now, having looks like really good yields of silage, and we've had another 30 mil of rain in the past week. Grass growth is really good, and this week's looking like, we'll have 20-25 degree days, so growth rate should be really good. So yeah, really good spring so far, and hope it continues. So we're day 2 of silage, and got about, I'd say probably 100 hectares done, roughly, without knowing. And our first pit's the small one, middle one, and then we've got a big one here which will fill as well. But grass is coming in pretty nice. Definitely wouldn't want it any drier with the way the weather's been really funny with dews and stuff, but it's coming in pretty good at the moment. And yeah, we're carting at the moment about 13 k's back from Narrogin, and then we'll head off to Borken after that. So but yeah, no, everything's going really well, and yeah, yields are so far really good as well, and quality seems good, so happy days. So today we're cleaning out this shed here, because we actually started here to the point where working out projects for this year. Obviously we done the big dam project last year, but so we're not doing some really extensive projects this year, but this year we're going to concrete this shed. So in this shed we normally put cottonseed and almond hulls, as a lot of you guys would have seen, that we fed over the autumn winter period, and at the moment we only have it on gravel, and works fine, but obviously over time you end up scraping out gravel and stuff. We've got a really depression here, So we're going to concrete all of this and also out the front as well, so that way when trucks tip off we can push it in without having to be on gravel. And we're also going to build a new silage bunker over here. So we've got the 3 bunkers over here, and we've got to shift some clay from that we've stockpiled last year from digging out drains and stuff. So we're going to put this out here and put 2 walls down here and down there and a back wall. So that'll be roughly probably another 500-ish ton bunker. And then that works really well because it's still working well close to the commodity shed, into the other bunkers and stuff as well. So that'll be this year's project. And we're actually also going to expand the pivot. So the pivot's currently 36 hectares. We're putting another span on the pivot, which will take it out to 50 hectares. So we've got some trees coming out as well. So to facilitate that, a couple of old plantations.
Hello all, welcome back. Another month again, things they're flying it. So since the last day, small couple of things we've done. We've done our scanning. It was very disappointing. We ended up with 15% empty after we did 11 weeks of breeding. He found an extra 4 cows on the day, which we hadn't thought that we assumed were in calf. There was 2 of them had been served once. They were served the end of May or the end of April, and had shown no sign of anything. Another one had been served twice, and the 4th cow he found had been served 4 times. Yeah, disappointing. So at the moment, where the plan is now, we had been putting in calf the 1st, 2nd and 3rd lactation cows who weren't in calf, they were in heat. We have an outlet for them every year, so there's 4 of them so far going to calve in May, and we're probably going to end up keeping them, I think, as a kind of a backup, because we're a small bit tight come the spring if 1 or 2 casualties, things don't go your way or whatever, or things like that. So we'll need maybe a small bit of a backup plan. So that was disappointing. Can't really pinpoint anything we did differently this year. And it was a great year grass-wise. Like, we never got a setback. The year before we got a setback. We had to come back in kind of at the start of April. Didn't happen this year. So it was disappointing. The other thing that happened during the month, we're finally finished with our calves with our grass scour. The last calf left to the knackery about 10 days ago, which brought our total to 5. So we lost 5 calves out of 10. The last calf we put up an awful battle with. She failed to get up for, it was definitely 3 weeks, and she failed to get up. And we were kind of helping her and coaxing her and feeding her and everything and keeping her going. Just frustrating. Seemed to be at the end of it. Hopefully it won't happen again. Just one of these things. We were contemplating getting the calf tested, because I was kind of thinking at the end maybe it mightn't be grass scour, could it be something else, but we didn't, and the vet kind of said there mightn't be any point, that all the signs were that it was grass scour. So that was it. Hopefully we won't experience that again. Cows and production and grass. So the last time we were speaking, we had been putting the last 2 rows of cows in by day and night. So we had 40 cows in by day, and a different 40 then were in by night on silage. We had to do it to try and build up covers. Our cover at the end of August, farm cover, was 707, and it worked. It really built it up. And we built up then our farm cover at the middle, the 8th of October then. Farm cover was 979. So it really built up our cover, and since then, so since the start of October, the 10th of October roughly, the cows are gone back out, all of them out full time. Now we have dried off. 20 first time calvers. That'll be calved. They'll all be calving in January again. So they were dried off. They're dried off 5 or 6 days at this stage. So we do it every year, just the first time calvers that are calving again in January, to give them a slightly longer bit of a chance to build up, and they go out to the outside blocks. Production then, I should work out our litres actually, but our litres they were in around the 17 the last time. The tank seems to be the same, so I'll ballpark it maybe in around that. Our fats are 452, fat 552, protein 459, and our somatic cell is hovering in around 100. So yeah, look, that is what it is. Our clean outs all along have been super, like conditions have been great, only except for the last week or so, and things are getting a small bit testy, like there was a bad night a couple of nights ago. But so far, like, the cows are going well, and we're rocking on in towards drying off now. We'll pick off some of the cows that are calving in January, and we'll move them on now in, I suppose, 10 days, 2 weeks time. We'll start picking them off and drying them off as well. The calves are all still out, maiden heifers are out. We've brought in a small bundle of cows that were fattening, and there's a small bundle of Angus heifers as well that were fattening for our own freezer and things. So they're in. That's about it. Everything else is going well. Another thing we did, so we went around to all the outside block and a good bit of the grazing platform as well. We went around with a bag of K. We did it 3 weeks ago. So with the dry spell, we went around with it to try and boost up our K and keep on top of that. And slurry is all out. Hedges are done. We have our own hedger. So Ollie heads around with as the cows have finished the paddock or two, he'll head around hedging, and so it kind of keeps the place clean, and we don't spoil any grass. We leave all the road hedges in for the winter time. It's another job that can be done. We get about the guts of a week out of it as well. So that's where we are. Cows are on 4 kilos. I'm looking at the meal being over. Cows are on 4 kilos ration the whole time. We haven't changed. So these are a couple of cows. There's only a handful of them. They were poor performers, and there was one cow, she got very lame last year. So these are cows that we hadn't put in calf that were to be leaving. They're very poor performers. So we dried them off. They're dry a good few weeks at this stage. So we started building them up on meal. They were on meal outside. Had this notion and idea of trying to feed them ad lib, because we fatten all our cull cows here. And in there as well, there's 3 heifers for the freezer as well. But had this notion of trying to do ad lib feeding and trying to get the best way to do it. So looking around bits and pieces. So we had this steel tank on the outside place. So just decided to try and see, could I make an ad lib feeder out of it. There was already in the top, so I cut the side of it out, put the legs on it, and we'll see how we go. It's a bit of a trial. It would take a lot of work out of it for us, because like in the springtime, we'll start fattening off our cull cows and to have them ready kind of for April, ideally, because you're looking then kind of the prices for them usually kind of rise around that time, because you're heading into barbecue season, starts in May, and you want to get your cull cows ready for around that time. So we start feeding them hard in kind of March. And it's just, there's a bit of work in it, like, because you're drawing the nuts onto them, and it'd be handier if we had a way of just topping it up once a day or once every couple of days. It would take a bit of workload out of it, and might keep things a bit cleaner. We're keeping the crows away. So we'll see how it goes. It's only a small thing, we're trialling away bits and pieces. See how it goes.